pull an audible this morning. Audible. Is my mic on? Mic on. Check the volume. Boom. Down 6. I had to pull an audible this morning. Audible. What does that mean? You had a plan, you got to shift the plan, man. You got to shift the plan. I got to make a change this morning. Brother Tony done posted something, so I'm going to give him a shout out. Tony Smith. All right, hang on. Let me share this out first. Let me, I think, is Tony gonna run for president? I don't know. Tony run for the damn president. But he posted his presidential speech, and I'm going to read it. I'm gonna have to read it. Give Brother Tony a shout out. The moron population. Tony don't do videos anymore. Y'all got him partially banned. Hang on. He always calls the population the moron population. All right, hang on. Let me share this out. Let me see if I can make it public. Push that there. Green News Network. Yeah, well, Tony actually, I think he was one of the founders of the Green News Network before the Green Party threw him out. He said too many truthful things and they couldn't get no money at the federal level if they actually let somebody like Tony stick around. So Tony had to go. And Sister Danielle and a few of them. Hang on, let me see. So I'm gonna give him a shout out. But first, let me share and let me get the touch the comments. All I need to do is click on the thing. I know what I'm doing now, kind of, sort of, maybe not. Because I can talk about something else, but I don't plan none of this stuff. I just wake up. I listen to my teachers, and I watch my friends post. And this post kind of inspired me a little bit. I didn't read the whole speech, but the first paragraph of the speech, I think was close enough. But Brother Tony, he knows mostly what's going on anyway. I'm gonna read his speech. But first, let me do that. Augustine, YouTube, Facebook. It takes a minute for it to kick in. Good morning, everybody. Yes, he is dead, Georgia. The king is dead. Yes, he is dead. Well, one of them. You got other kings, though, Georgia. Don't get too happy. Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. The king is dead. Yeah, one of them. It's a whole bunch more. But you know, with times like this, Georgia, usually they'll have a what they have. They have those war criminal funerals. Not interested, sorry. Hashtag not interested. We got piles of poo in San Francisco and the Amazon jungle is burning up. I don't like it when we lose anybody. I don't like it. But you gonna fight to get a tear out of me, damn it. You're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to get a whole lot of okra and onions to get a tear out of me for the damn Koch brothers. About buying the American government to invade Venezuela. To get the, no, not out of me. No, there's a lot of people live in Venezuela. A lot of little girls get raped in Venezuela. A lot of people die. A lot of people are starving. Hell no, you ain't get no tears out of me, no. But the thing I'm gonna say though, people need to pay attention to the politicians who line up and pay homage to them, because then you know. That's how you know, baby. That's how you know. You don't own your country. That's how you know. You can cut out with that nationalist stuff, because they all gonna line up and pay homage and kiss the ring. Koch brothers and made sure they stayed in office. So I don't have nothing negative to say about them. Because like I said, if I was David Koch, I'd be David Koch. But I ain't David. Is that the one that died? I don't know. But I gotta pay homage to Brother Tony, so I didn't even want to talk about that. I'm sorry. All billionaires are psychopaths. I'm sorry. If you got $1 billion that will stop children from dying around the world and little girls from having to sell their bodies at the age of 14 in the Philippines, and you don't share none of that money to make that happen, you don't give economic systems and assist in it, but yet you feed into the corporations that make it necessary? Hell no! You're not getting no tears out of me. No. Wrong guy. Hashtag wrong brother. You talk to somebody else, not me. I don't do it. I don't do war criminal funerals, and I don't do billionaire funerals. It's just not in my DNA. It's not in my DNA. But good morning. I'm still setting up. I'm sorry. Sister sent me down that thought process. Sister Georgia was talking about how he died at 79. I saw it for a minute. I was just posting. I was like, ding dong, the witch is dead. Don't worry about it, because a lot of other witches. We got to stay focused. Stay focused. Human freedom. That's what I'm talking about. Freedom from the Federal Reserve. Is it Friday? It's Friday? Stop it. Is it? You lying? Somebody lying? Who's that? Stacy, you lying? Nope, it's Friday. It's Freedom Friday. Which actually makes sense. That's what I'm going to talk about. After I do Tony's speech. I got to get Tony, though. I got to get Tony. He posted his speech as president, so I need to read. Did y'all see it? I have to read it real quick. I'm doing something else. My mind was somewhere else, but this is all organic. Like I said, I don't plan none of this. It just happens how it happens. That way you know it's spiritual energies and maybe it's the right thing and not what I want to talk about or do. But first, the problem is I went over to Tony's profile. I couldn't find no damn pictures. So I had to I had to improvise. And I was thinking to myself, who does Tony look like? Because I went to Tony's profile. He has no pictures because I think y'all done got him in trouble so many times. He doesn't put his picture up anymore, getting death threats because he's saying like stop central banking and the Green Party need to grow up on the federal level. You know, you act like you want to help, but hashtag you look like you're a baby Democrat the same way the Constitutional Party is a baby Republican. All right, which is all feeding up to the same people. It's all run by the same corporations, Democrats and the Republicans. Oh, you know what? Oh, Georgia, you know what? I was going to post it. I didn't post it. Let's see. Let me see. One of our kings died. David Cook at 79. And I said, what I said? Pay attention to those politicians that line up and pay homage. That's right. Because they're going to line up, they're going to bend the knee. They're going to line up and bend the knee. But that's not what I wanted to do. Got to put my comments up over here. Then I got to go. I couldn't find Toblin. You seem to have a bunch of slaves that keep voting for more. Listen, I made a meme this morning. Damn it. I think I posted it. I don't know. I forgot. I do so much in the morning. And I was planting, but it's raining, so I can barely plant in the rain. All right, let me turn this music off. Let me fix Tony first. I couldn't find Tony, y'all. But seeing how we're on this whole let my people go thing, emancipation, we have automation, we can emancipate the human race, but y'all are fighting for more slavery jobs. The cotton plantation is suffering. The cotton industry ain't doing good. Instead of like saying maybe the GDP for the plantation is bad, maybe we shouldn't be slaves. Everybody, both sides, they want more slave jobs. They want more slave incomes and they want more guaranteed slavery. And they want some health care for the slavery because they hate slavery and they're all on pharmaceutical, antipsychotic, depressant drugs and they want freedom. They want it free. Nobody wants to be free. They want every damn thing free, but nobody wants to be free. So I was going to talk about Moses this morning, so I went and I found Moses. Where Moses at? Moses! Moses, where you at? Where you at, Moses? Here, go right. Moses, there we go. So I have Moses all ready to go. And I was thinking, you know what? But if I put up, let me change the music. If I put up Brother Moses and people come in, the first thing they start crying, start triggering people like, oh, Moses ain't right. Moses didn't look like that. Moses, you know, I'm just like, you people with your identities. So the only way I know how to stop your identity crying is I had to get my man. Y'all know my man, found in England. What was he, 60,000 years ago? Got caught and locked up in a cave. I know, it's like America, locking everybody. My man, Cheddarman, boom! So we took out Moses' face, we put on Cheddarman. Why I love Cheddarman? I love Cheddarman. You know why? Because Cheddarman, one, he looked like Tony. I'm sorry, well, not in the face or nothing. He got the hair, he got the hair. He got the Tony Smith hair. But outside of that, I loved it because when they found Cheddarman, it was obvious that none of y'all were right. They were like, you know, Moses was black. No, he wasn't. You know, because Cheddarman that came out of northern Egypt. And the other side, like, Moses white! No, he wasn't. That's why I love Cheddarman, because Cheddarman came out, he had long, flowing hair and blue eyes. And brown skin. That's how I know y'all related. Y'all related. I really don't give two damns what you think, what somebody lied to you. Y'all related. Y'all cousins. All right, let me go find this Tony Smith. So anyway, I'm gonna just go with this because I couldn't find Tony's picture. You guys scared to put his picture up there. Y'all got people chasing him and stuff. All right, hang on, let me see. Did Cheddarman drink coffee? Deborah, we don't know. I don't think we know that yet, do we? All right, let me go on. I gotta go to the, we don't have presidential music, do we? All right, so let me do this. I got to give Brother Tony Smith a shout out and I'm gonna read his speech. If he is president, he said this is the presidential speech that he wants to hear. Let me get rid of my butt first. Hold on. Where's my butt at? There you go. No, that's not my butt. Wait, where it go? No, that's not it. Dang it. There's too many buttons on here. There you go. Boom! All right, it's all about Tony. It's Tony Smith, people. Tony Cheddar Smith. Tony Cheddar Smith. My fellow Americans, I've come to you, morons. I'm sorry, we got to change that because Tony, he didn't say that. My fellow American morons, I come to you here as your president. I'm sorry. All right, get in the mode, go. And as your president, I have come to warn you of the almost 2,000-year-old conspiracy for world domination. First socially, then culturally, then economically, and finally, totally. I want you to ponder on your word totally. Oh, word totally? Tony, I think you meant world. Do you as a people want to be totally controlled by your government? Are you willing to give up your freedom because of your ignorance? Morons. I had to put the moron part in there because Tony says that all the time. Is it not in you as a human being to be free? Or are you totally reliant on what people tell you that you can't not live without it? I see a nation of independent critical thinkers. I see a nation of innovators. I see a nation who deprive its population of the God-given right to be who they want to be in order for us to free ourselves from this tyrannical thought process, which was artificially manifested into the lives of the people of this country through the propaganda of the monotheistic in public and the polytheistic in private, who have carved a nation out of the ashes of the Roman conquest of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Tony knows his history. Tony, I say it again. Tony knows his history. He knows what he's talking about right there. I have no idea what he's talking about, but he knows his history. These people are subversive. These people are subversive and manipulative in nature. They own all the communication in the entire world, but only make up 1% of its population. They run Hollywood. They control the currency we all call money. We are gonna do to America, not America the country, America the individual. I am a racist. I am what the media will twist and turn because they are the very people who have kept these people in control. The media as Americans with the freedom of the press, do you limit it as an authorized press? Oh, that's a question. Hold on, wait. The media, as Americans with the freedom of the press, do you limit it as an authorized press or to the freedom of the people to engage in whatever conversation they see fit? If the country comes into agreement, then I, as your president, will make use of my office to allow the majority to rule, not as 50%, but as this country breathes. I don't know what that means, but presidents say that all the damn time, and I can understand Tony would say it, but he'd probably put in moron in there somewhere. It's people see and understand without thinking what is right. The only way to achieve this oneness is you love your neighbor as yourself. Whatever you think of somebody else, do you want them to think of you in the same fashion? If not, free yourself. I thank you. God bless America, because through your numbers, may God see freedom ring. Thank you. This is a speech I wrote because this is a true president. Morons. Tony Smith. All right, I'm done. Woo. I love Tony. Let me add that to my timeline. I love Tony. And Tony's right. Unfortunately, Tony's right. I had to do that through Cheddarman. All right, here we go. Let's back it up. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to share his thoughts because a true president would stand up for America. A true president would stand up for America, and as soon as they do, they're gonna get murdered. That's all that's gonna happen. They're gonna stand up, then they're gonna lay down. That's how it happens. Stand up, lay down. Same way JFK did. Now, this is what I wanted to do with Cheddarman. Thank you, Tony Smith. I appreciate it. Let's bring Moses down here. Oh, Moses white. Ah! The crowd screams. No, Moses ain't white. Shut up. He's Cheddarman. Put Cheddarman head back down. Okay, done with the Tony Smith part. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, I forgot to do something. I was trying to bring in the plantation thing. Where's my meat? I'm gonna tell you where my brain was, before Tony just messed me up with that. And that's all it is. Like if you had a president who stood up for the people, he'd get murdered. He'd get murdered. Central banks can't have that, and politicians can't have it. And it's not that the low-lying politicians aren't decent people. It's that they believe this crap too, right? The low-lying politicians are controlled by the top politicians that run all the PACs and groups and everything, and they tell all the young politicians, the new ones, what to do, right? And the top ones, where do they get their money from? How do they get retired? How do they get their bunker keys? How do they stay in power? By the big corporations and banks. Banks run this world. They run the country. They make all the decisions, and the politicians all fall in line. And the ones that don't get shot. How do I know? San Francisco. San Francisco. And I'm changing his name. It's not San Francisco, it's San Francisco. And why is that his name? Have you seen San Francisco lately? I sure haven't. I have now. My goodness. and even Fox News said it. And when Fox News says it, oh my gosh, it's old news. So San Francisco, let me show you something before we get into this whole, well, let me wrap this up. People still don't know what central banking is. They're the people who own you. They're the people who run you. They're the people who decide everything in your nation, because you don't have a nation, you have a plantation. Okay? You are a slave. Stop asking for more slave jobs. This is what central banks do. They print the nation's currency, they control the money supply, and they control the interest rates. This is why San Francisco has a poop map. Is everybody familiar with the poop map? Have y'all seen the poop map? San Francisco literally has a poop map. San Francisco has been taken back into medieval times. This is the poop map of San Francisco. These are all the places they got piles of poo. Yes, just like in medieval Europe, as we send billions of dollars overseas, we have American cities vying for who is the most third world medieval, who doesn't even have the money to even clean up the poo. The poo in San Francisco is actually clogging escalators, right? Because they say the poo, it goes down the steps and it gets caught up in those little wheels and cogs, and the repairman got to go down there and clean and fix the poo because there's so much poo, it jams up the gears. This is your America. It's your America. I know you thought it was just Baltimore. I know you just thought it was Camden, New Jersey. I know you just thought, no, this is the whole nation, okay? This is the side effect of continuing to vote for massive banks that don't give two damns about your nation. Once again, this is a looting operation. You can blame the city of San Francisco. I'm waiting for somebody to say it. Well, it's coming. I know somebody can say, it's because they're a Democrat city, or it's because they're a Republican. I don't even know if they're Republican, Democrat. Remember, it means no difference. It doesn't really matter. The states are being bribed by a federal government that's completely unconstitutional and run by international central banking that decide every damn thing, all right? That's the first thing. And so now the state's being starved. What can they do for the cities? Not a damn thing, right? And this is why you've got medieval viruses and the next plagues coming out of the United States cities, sections of the city the police don't even go to. So I'm gonna look at that, but outside, going in there, we're literally being looted, and this is what you're voting for. And that's why I ain't voting today. Every day is why I ain't voting. That's why I ain't voting today, because San Francisco got a poo map. Hashtag. That's why I ain't voting. I ain't voting. What does this down here? What does this say? What's the rest? I got this from something online. Let me see. The other thing the central bank does, which is international, which is why you don't have to worry about Russian collusion, is they oversee their currency's commercial banking system. They oversee the country's currency banking system. It's like mama. This is why I call central banks mama, because mama got the money. Mama pay out the allowance, and the tops of your political parties must go to mama for allowance. And mama don't even live in the United States. Yeah, and the Koch brothers is like one of them. Now, he isn't involved in central banking that I know, the Koch family, but they're the billionaires. They're with the Rockefellers and the Mellons and the other families that work with the Rothchild central banks that own you. Remember? Owners, they own you. It's a big club. You ain't in it. You don't even know about it, okay? And your politicians want to be in it. At the tops, not the insignificant ones, but the ones at the top. They want to be in it. And they will sell you out, everybody in San Francisco, until you got just avian flu flying through the air from piles of human poo that nobody wants to walk through. All right, here's last thing. Last thing is what? Also called reserve banking monetary Authority. Authority. Great word. Great word. Big words today. Authority. They are the authority in your nation. Remember the Rothchild quote. Was it grandmama, grandpa? I forgot which one. Said, give me the ability to print a nation's currency, and I don't give two damns who write its law. Yes, I updated the quote for modern times so you understand what I'm talking about. Give me the ability to give allowance to the politicians, and I don't give who they two damns what they write, because I own them. All right. And the funny thing is, it's like everyone told you that. Trump said it, Obama said it, Bernie said it, everybody said it, but y'all want to run out and keep voting for the people who want to be in a big club. Just how the world works. So I'm gonna look at San Francisco. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Woo, that was a mouthful. All right, I gotta go to the plantation. I didn't have a plantation picture picked out, so I gotta find me a plantation picture. All right, you know, maybe I'll go find my meme. Whew, Freedom Fridays, Freedom Fridays. So we gotta go to the plantation. We got to go to the plantation because this is why I got Cheddarman right here and Moses. Moses had a famous quote, and he got one of them, and this is the only one that you need to focus on. Let my people go. That's it. Let my people go. All right, here goes. Here's the meme right here. Let them go. Who are your people? Let them all go. We can free the human race. This is why we have problems. If your time's uncertain, okay? Your future is uncertain. You're not sure what's going on the plantation, but people ain't coming to work. Running out of cotton. Not enough cotton for everybody to pick. Okay? It's not a time to ask for more cotton. It's not a time. We need some more fields here. We need some more jobs. Bad idea. Okay? Let me see if I can move it down a little bit. Now is not a time to ask for income. Well, we need more rice on Mondays. We need more rice because we don't have enough rice to go around. We need guaranteed basic rice income. No, you actually don't. We need more jobs. We need health care because it's so hard working in the field. We hate it so much. We need to buy our antidepressants and psychotropic drugs to keep picking this cotton that we need and love to pick so much in the cubicles around America. Is anybody getting the analogy? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I am wrong. Does the analogy not fit with slavery? It's forced labor. When you are being forced to labor, you don't ask. They want to ask it right here. These people, they want more labor. They want more jobs. Now, ain't enough cotton to go around. We got to pick. We need more jobs. Billionaires, massa, please bring in more jobs for us. We don't have enough cotton to pick. The cotton gin's taking our jobs. All right, I know. What the angry faces? Y'all didn't bring the Republicans and Democrats to keep the plantation going. You know, like they don't really get how it works. And it's just, to me, it's ridiculous that we even have to have this discussion. You are a slave locked on a plantation. You have automation and robots that can free you. There they go right there. There they go. No, we want our health care. We don't want slavery in. Like, no, we gonna end slavery. I don't really care what you want because we ain't doing this for another 1,000 years. No, we need to move on. We need to evolve and become something better. And that ain't gonna happen if we keep playing this little silly game of every time the plantation GDP goes down, we start yelling and screaming at massa. We can help the plantation by bringing more jobs in. You don't go to the people who enslaved you to ask them for more help. That's just a bad idea. It's never gonna end out well if you keep asking over and over and over. Every couple hundred, couple thousand years, you keep begging them and begging them to keep the plant. All right, I'm done. All right. Whew. All right. It's Freedom Friday, y'all. It's Freedom Friday. All right. And is it not fitting that one of the Koch brothers died? It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm just simply saying that, you know, you gotta let the people go. All right. Let me back out of that. Now, where we at? I need a sustainable slave plantation picture because I need to let everybody know, yes, I think we're slaves. Who was that guy who said we were slaves because we want to be? Everybody hate him now. Hang on, I gotta find me a plantation picture because it's Freedom Friday and I think that's what's most important. Slave plantation. Because we love slavery. It's just something about slavery. We just love it. We don't want to let it go. We got to keep the markets going. They just call it a market now. They call it an industry now, but it's still slavery. We got to keep it going. Let me see. No, I want a plantation house. That's what I want. I'm gonna get a plantation house. That's gonna be, yeah, we're gonna do it. A nice, pretty one too. We need to find a pretty big house that we can have in the backdrop as we work. You know how like you got executives and your bosses who drive those nice cars, you pull up all day like, oh, I wanna drive that. I wanna live there. Same way boss did. The only difference is back then, it was only the sellouts that wanted to be in the big house. It was only the sellouts that wanted to be that close to master. It was only the sellouts who wanted to be the slave master, not get rid of slavery. Yeah. If that bothers you a little bit, you can hit the angry face. I'm okay with that. That's how I know people listening. You see that angry face. Hang on. Let me see. All right, let me get my background and we're going to get back into it. I need to talk about San Francisco because the United States cities are lining up, literally lining up to compete over who has the most third world-like conditions for their people. And I don't think anyone's paying attention to it. Like they're literally competing over who has the worst city. There you go, there you go. Like American cities aren't that bad. I need a plantation back here. Here we go. I don't believe in lies. All right, let my people go. Let's move Moses. Can we put Moses on the porch? Let's put, hang on. We'll put Moses on the porch. Now we're gonna put Moses in front of the tree. Come on down here, Black Cheddarman Moses. We go, dang it. It's not gonna look right. Hold on. We're gonna get there in a minute. All right. Oh, right there. All righty. Moses and Cheddarman face. There we go. All right. Although his head is kind of big. Gotta make Moses a little bigger. Right. This is a game for me. Facebook is a game, y'all. I love this. This is fun. There you go. Let my people go. They are slaves and they don't even know that they're slaves. They are literally going to the people holding the whips because the politicians really aren't mastering that analogy. The politicians are the ones holding the whips. They're the ones that constantly whip you. And the funny thing is the politicians, they don't get a seat at the chair either. They're just the ones whipping and they're told to give you these ideas that keep slavery sustainable. So you keep begging and begging and begging for more. All right. Now, I got to look at San Francisco because we have medieval sections of cities, and it blew my mind that even Fox News knows that. Poop cities. Yeah, somebody said that. Poop cities, urine rivers. Urine got some medicinal purposes, though. Yeah, it does. I know, Trish, but not American urine. American urine is full of Prozac and glyphosate and Ritalin and Viagra and all the other little freaky funky things that they synthetic medications they put in their bodies. Tylenol, 11 popular pesticides. That's not medicinal. That's poison rivers and poison poo. And that's why all that biology is just coking up in that poop map. It's like here the air. Look at this. Look at this. I'm going back to the poop map. You made me think of something. See, because they talk about how the human poo. San Fran, you think I'm joking? Just type in San Francisco. Now, as soon as I typed it in, now I'm gonna show you, let me show you this. Because Google is making, but this isn't Google, who is it? Well, I think they probably get it from Google. When you type things in, they give you suggestions. Right here, I wanna do this. You type things in, they give you these suggestions. San Francisco, and the first thing that comes up is weather. This is how we know we're all gonna die. This is how we know we're all gonna die. Because these are the popular searches when it comes to San Francisco. Nobody's talking about San Francisco being medieval and percolating the AV zombie flu and the piles of poo that are piling up all over the city. Nobody's cleaning up. Nobody's talking about what's living in there and figuring out how to live in an ecosystem poo pile in San Francisco with glyphosate and bear and Ritalin and Prozac and all of their drugs and some urine and poo in there, non-organic food and all of the just abused beef and meat and all of that just perking together in the San Francisco hot sun, moisture, because they're close to the water too. I went to San Francisco before. My aunt took me there. I ain't want to go. As a baby, I knew what slavery was and a prison was. They took me to damn Alcatraz. I never forgave my aunt for that, my uncle. They took me there. Why I want to go to a prison? I don't want to go to a prison on my holiday, but anyway. All of that microbiology learning with human biology and figuring out how to kill a human, how to survive in a human body that's made of all of these antibiotics and all of the synthetic drugs, just percolating. And while that avian food, it lives and it figures out how to live in a human body, because human manure is the most dangerous thing to humans in the world, then it dries up when the humidity drops. And then guess what happens? A nice breeze comes through. Because I know San Fran, you know it's getting breezy because it's close to the water. Nice ocean breeze blows through. And what happens to all that dried poo? It has the consistency of a powder, right? The people that you step over when you go to work, the homeless people that you don't even pretend, you don't even see them, they're not even there. All of that poo goes airborne, whew, like a breeze, airborne poo. As you're walking to work. This is one thing my brothers told me, scared the hell out of me. I still hate him for it. I love him to death. I hate him. He said, you know that everything you smell is actually particles of what you smell. So as you walk into work, because they say there's no section in San Francisco that smells good. So guess what you're smelling while you go to work? Guess every time you're laughing and you're drinking your $7 coffee. Poor people, stepping over them. Guess what's landing in your coffee through every little breeze in San Francisco? Poo manure with glyphosate bacteria and riddling it. This is how I know we all gonna die. We all gonna die. We all gonna die. And because right here, the searchers. That's how I know we're gonna die. The first search at the top, when I type in San Francisco, should not say weather. Nobody should care about the weather. Nobody should care about climate change. Why? Because your government's changing the damn climate. All right? JFK told you that's what they were about to do, and now it's happening. They filed the weather patents. They filed the pact with the 127 nations, and the climate change that JFK said might happen if we let them keep doing it closed source is happening. So you don't have to worry about the weather. Your government's behind the weather. These monkeys that have no idea what they're doing, and big corporations, all right? And when I say government, I'm not talking about the mailman. I'm talking about the people at the top taking the big money, keeping the people down below stupid. All the other politicians, the ones you don't see on TV on a regular basis, the ones that you believe because they're charismatic, because they still believe, because they haven't figured out yet in order to get their retirement, they got to sell you out. Once they get to the top, it's too late. They're going to be just like the others. That should not be the first search. The second search, San Francisco Giants, that should not be the second search. That's how I know we're all going to die, because you're still worried about the Coliseum Games. You're still believing in the mindset of being a slave and competing and killing each other, and not thinking about who owns the stadium, who owns the franchise. And the second one is 49ers. You see where I'm going with that? The very next search should be San Francisco Poo app. I got to type the whole thing in to get it to come up. There's an app where they got the poo. These are the sections of the city where the poo, if you were standing east of the poo, that's when the breeze gonna come on in your face. And that microbiology's going in your nose, going in your eyes, going in your ears, in your mouth, in your coffee cup, in your $22 avocado sandwich. And the plague will start within you. Because nature is always just trying to figure out how to reclaim energy. And it's waiting to reclaim the human being. It can't wait to reclaim us. We are prolific all over this planet, and it needs to reconsume that energy. All right, here we go. I want to show you San Francisco. So you got apparently cities in the United States competing over who is the worst. And we got the people going to vote for more of this nonsense. And it boggles my mind. I have no idea. And I don't understand why. I have no idea. The American education system has not failed. It is just completely non-existent. Let me see, that's the wildfires, this. San Francisco, nasty, wonderful. You know what, I don't want to, is that the one I want to play? No, hang on. There was one. It's not even showing up. All right, so this is what I'm gonna have to do a search for. San Francisco. I think it was actually Fox News that did it. Homelessness. Problem. Defecating. Here we go, right here. And I said I was never gonna play Fox News, but
find your inspiration.
Broken clock is right 2 times a day. The other way I know we're gonna die is because people think about buying Mazdas. That's how I know we're gonna die.
Yeah, I always wanted to come back, and now that my kids are grown and they don't need me like they did, before.
Do your kids know that you don't have a home here?
I don't know. But I don't plan on being homeless forever.
Brother, you have no idea what central banking is. They plan on you being homeless forever, and then they plan on you dying homeless, right? Because that's what people do.
So the homelessness in San Francisco is out of control. I would say the majority of people that are homeless are not homeless. They're mentally ill / drug addicts.
This is a question you need to be asking. Why do the police let it go on right in front of them? Is it because of that bill that they passed? It made everything a misdemeanor? Even heroin, simple possession of meth and heroin are misdemeanors now? So it's not worth the cops' time. The Supreme Court gave a ruling that the overcrowding in the California prisons was cruel and unusual punishment, and they threatened to cut off the Fed dollar if they didn't do something about it. So that's why they're not arresting everybody anymore. They can't put them all in prison because they got a Supreme Court ruling against them that called it cruel and unusual punishment, how crowded the prisons were.
See, and this is the interesting thing, right? Because Fox News does this. Remember, they pick their team and the other side picks their team, and they're both just apathetic, stupid fools, right? You have a system under collapse. The prison system can't fit more people in it because the laws are unconstitutional, right? And they wrote the unconstitutional laws to criminalize all these things, partially because they were starving the nation. Remember, America's a loot job. It's a looting operation. They're literally siphoning money out of the country. They're breaking the dollar value. That's why we're down to 98%. The dollar lost 98% of its value since 1913. And what do you do with the people? You have to criminalize them. You have to come up with a reason and excuse to put them in prison. And so all the crimes are just the things that people do out of survival. And you fill the prisons. Now they can't even fill the prisons with them. So now they're letting them go, and people in the street complain that you need to start putting them back in prison. And you see how like everything turns everybody against each other all the ways around. That's why I hate playing things from Fox News, but unfortunately, they're the one that's talking about it right now. The system is in collapse. You're being looted by central banks and billionaires. That is the only struggle. There's no other struggle in America, in the world, anywhere, other than freeing the human race. Moses said it, let my people go. The people need to be let go.
The whole goal of Prop 47 had multiple aspects to it. The goal was to be more helpful to society, helpful to the homeless issue, helpful to the police departments and the court systems. But as we saw, that's a total failure at this point.
Of course it's a total failure. It's not a city problem. It's a federal problem. You have a federal government that's made laws that are completely unconstitutional, against the Bill of Rights they need to get rid of. They made Americans into survival mode, right? This is the whole point of keeping people in survival mode. If you can make laws that allow them to not survive, they can't do the things the big corporations can do. They can't cut hair. They can't grow food. They can't grow drugs. They can't harvest water. They can't do all these things without different levels of certification and training in school and all of this crazy crap. So people can't pay. They can't buy food. They can't make money. They don't have a house, right? This is how this works. It's not a city problem. It's a model problem, a systemic problem with letting banks run your damn country. All right, letting greed decide everything. Having a corporatocracy and an oligarchy that makes every decision based in profit, and you keep voting for it because you like the charisma of the person on the bottom who actually can't control anything. It's not a city problem. The cities are bankrupt. The states are bankrupt. That's why the states are doing everything they can with cannabis and whatever to make money.
Connection between those who are homeless and drug abusers, it has a direct correlation in a sense. These who are homeless and in possession of drugs are not going to be prosecuted and taken out of the homeless realm and thrown into jail as long as what they possess is less than $950. The intention.
And they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. You shouldn't put anybody in jail for having a damn plant. Stupid. Think about the root problem if you're a Fox News watcher. The root problem isn't the drugs. The root problem is why people had to take the drugs to begin with, because they were put into survival mode. They had all kinds of depression. This is why all the drugs are medicinal to a degree, because it takes them out of the false reality that this monolithic 1913 United States corporation created when it destroyed the federal government, suspended the Constitution. They created just a massive monstrosity, slave plantation of a poo-riddled medieval world. And this is
Sure,
the
was
side
to help,
effect.
of course. But what it really wound up doing is it made San Francisco more attractive for those who are both homeless
Yes.
and those who are drug addicts.
That's what it'll do, because all the surrounding cities have the same damn problem, so they'll run there. But you were trying to solve the problem, and I appreciate that you're starting to go the right direction, but this is where critical thought is key. This is when you stop cheering your government that keeps handling side effects and you force them to talk about the root causes. The root causes, people need to survive. They need food, they need water. All the food can be grown in automated fashions. All the homes, one of the corporations that actually 3D prints houses for $500, guess where they're from? California. Okay? You can house everybody and feed everybody, but you got to stop playing side effect.
To move here, we're now finding that homelessness is increasing, drug addiction is increasing, and the number of
It
people
should.
here, the numbers are increasing as well.
And it's going to. It's going to get worse.
I'm killing you.
I'll go through it, but I'm going to look at the comments as we go. Yes, like Stacy said, voting's an illusion. That's why we're here. Your voting is doing nothing but consenting to this. Your voting says this is okay. Your voting says we're going to keep the plantation going. We're going to keep starving people. We're going to keep dealing with side effects, ignoring the root causes, because the root causes are how the corporations make all this big money and get loans from the big banks. But the small banks and the federal bank, the big bank, prints the money. You see how all that works together and you keep consenting to it? That's why people tell you you're not actually voting for anything. You're not voting for a person. You're actually pulling a lever of consent. You're saying we will keep the plantation going. We won't actually deal with any problems. That's why most of my friends are against the whole concept of continuing to support this. And of course, the politicians who want to help, they can't do anything because you're still voting for it. You haven't given them a systemic, basic model fix of freeing the people, developing a world where people are free from forced labor. You can't continue slavery. You don't have enough jobs in slavery for all these people. We have to start freeing people, and the only way we do that is we make room for them. It's called houses, food, land. You start making room for them.
Okay. She homeless every day. The window.
She spits on it.
Yes, every day.
You have to clean it up.
She should have
Yes.
spit on the window.
What's happened is that over the years, before homelessness was the crisis that we're having now, is that San Francisco was always looked at as being a fun, musical, free, welcoming of people from all over the world. But now, as we see that the city has very much changed, at what point do the locals here just say, we've had enough?
At what point do the locals say, we've had enough? At what point do the slaves get up their pitchfork and torch and say enough? Stacy done said it again. How do we change it? We change minds. That's the only way you change it. Why? Because the problem is us. It's not the politicians. It's not the poor people. It's not the homeless. It's not the drug use. It's not the drug dealers. It's not the cartels. It's not the bankers. It's not the corporations. It damn sure ain't the Kochs, the Rockefellers, or the Mellons. The problem is us. Us. We've lost all sense of humanity. We've lost all sense of apathy. We're not human. Consciousness is the way. How do you fix it? You change the minds of people. You get them to stop stepping over the homeless and thinking about the homeless, which is what voting is. Stepping over the homeless. You're confirming that you're okay with all of this. And the people running things should keep running things. That's how you do it. You talk to people. Consciousness. We have to move forward. We have to evolve. We got to go back and find that love that we left behind.
Other cities stick them on buses and send them here. And now this is like a homeless camp.
What happens
Should
is
be.
they're building too many condominiums and kicking the people out.
High cost of living, which also pushes out affordable housing initiatives, which also pushes out homeless shelters.
Affordable housing initiatives are all BS. Housing doesn't cost anything. Land is literally free. The biggest landowner in the United States is the federal government. They got all the land that you need. But the problem is right in California, you know where most of that land is? Yeah, Area damn 51. That's right. Them people own thousands of acres. Thousands of acres of land down there. All of those people could be down in Area 51. Instead of making free energy weapons or whatever the dumb thing he is doing down there that's causing everybody wants to run down there, you allocate land. You put up sustainable greenhouses that can grow in arid climates, aquaponic systems that actually can feed people, and you get that company that's 3D printing the houses to start 3D printing $500 cost houses. When people have housing and food, you think they'll come to your city? No, they won't. Once again, we keep going back. The same problem is the root problem. We don't give two damns about people, and that's why they come to your city. And they should be coming to everybody's city. The only thing is, not every city's like New York, so they can't live in multi-tiers of tunnels of ancient subway systems that people live under there. I heard the other day that babies are born down there. That in the subterranean world of New York City, where they hide all the people that you're not supposed to see, they got power. They got water. They're complete sub-cities of human beings living subhuman lives because we keep voting for this crap. The problem is us.
Because those are like the first thing to go.
Quality of life laws have to be enforced. Urinating on the street, defecating, sleeping, shooting heroin on the street should be illegal.
No, it shouldn't. They should doo-doo all over your street. That should not be. They should pee on your walls and spit on your windows. Why? Because you don't care. That's why. And they should do that until you do care. No, Area 51 is not in California. Area 51 is in Nevada, but it's close. And people can get there. But does the federal government own land in California? Hell yeah, they do. They're the biggest landowner in the United States. And it's unconstitutional. They don't even get to own land. That's the crazy part. Nobody in America owns land. Nobody in America owns land. But the federal government does. Because you're all slaves. You're all slaves. You don't own anything. You got to pay taxes on it. And you stop paying taxes, they take it back. You're not a landowner. You're a fool. Because you've been fooled. And you're voting to be fooled more.
While some locals are clearly frustrated with the homeless crisis, others seem to be either desensitized or completely heartbroken.
Normalized, because they don't care. They're completely
I mean, I see it every day. Where I work in Berkeley, there's a semi-permanent camp right on the block where they'll get cleared out every few weeks and they come back. It's something that's around that I see every day.
I mean, it's hard to get the logic on it if some of the economic indicators say in general we're doing better, and yet just to walk down the street, clearly that's not the case for a lot of folks. Just right now, where we are walking from City Hall, if I walk...
Hold on, first of all, no, it's easy to get the logic. It's called read. Okay? It's called read. We send billions of dollars every year to other nations for billionaires' projects, for blowing up things and dropping bombs on babies' heads. It's easy to get the logic. People vote for the crap. That's why it happens. Easy to get the logic. But people don't, they're just, it's so normalized. It's so sick and maniacal, the way the media takes people and turns their brains to apathetic piles of goo like poo in San Francisco.
One block that way, I moved from seeing professionals to seeing 10 people in a row actively cooking meth and shooting up, sleeping either in tents or just crashed out on the sidewalk, in the juxtaposition of...
As they should. You know why? Because when you don't have food, drugs makes the pain go away. That's right. When you got a lot of pain, alcohol makes the pain go away. So why do people do drugs and alcohol on the street? Because we don't give two damns about them. We're not stewarding the planet. We're destroying and burning the planet like the Amazon jungle. Except for this is San Francisco. And this is in every city all over America. But people are okay with it, right? Because they're scared of the Russians. The Russians are coming. So we need to starve people to death and force children in New York City to live under these 8 levels of tunnels in poo and who knows whatever else.
Union Square and like elite economic shops on one end, government wealth on the other end. It just doesn't seem fathomable the way that the reality is. How do I engage with fellow members of my city without feeling like I'm looking at them to see what they are?
They're monsters. They're monsters, and they're becoming monsters, and they're supposed to be monsters. Why? Because you're letting them live monstrous lives. They should be joining the MS-13s and the Bloods and the Crips and everything. And that's what I'm saying, because kids see this. That's why I don't blame kids for nothing. Because kids see this. They see that you don't give two damns about them, and they got choices. Let me see. I can't go to college. I can't do this. I was born in this family. What are my options? Either live on the street like this and poo everywhere and live in poo and pee and crap and have nothing and starve, or I go run with these boys and shoot a few people and drive in a car and join a gang that takes care of me. You see how that works? That's why I don't blame kids for nothing. I don't blame them for any of the gang violence. The problem is the policies in your government. Your government is controlled by a central banking cartel, and they're looting your nation.
It does appear to be growing. It's a complex system issue. One perspective is just the economic structure of capitalism right now is increasing the division between the wealthy and the poor. We're seeing it here in San Francisco, one of the wealthiest cities in America.
No, and it's not the capitalistic system. It's us, okay? We vote for it. It's the funniest thing. Like, I watch people out there like, we need to stop capitalism. And they go out there and pull the lever for crony capitalism. And they pull in the lever, we need to stop capitalism. Then why you keep voting for it, fool? Why are you still voting for it? If the problem is capitalism, the problem is crony, why are you still voting for capitalism? Are you still going to work? Do you have a bank account? Are you spending money? You are engaging in a system full bore that you want to go away. It's critical thought. People don't think enough.
So there's a few different schools of thought, but one of them specifically goes back to the early 1960s. That was when the last Republican mayor's administration finished up and voted in a Democratic mayor, which has been the situation all the way till today.
Here we go.
And so before this, in 1964 or so, we've had a whole string of Republican conservative mayorships. Then after that, when the Democrats were voted in, we had the poverty, homeless, everything as you see, and that has never changed. Unless there's a fundamental change in getting more conservative, more centrist candidates elected to office, elected to the mayorship, elected to the city council or board of supervisors, there's not going to be a change.
He's right, though. He's right. One thing, all that was a lie. That was awesome bull. You said one thing right. 2 schools of knowledge. Keep the same or do a paradigm shift. Only schools of knowledge. Everything else is BS. Keep doing the same thing, thinking of a job as a good idea, not forced labor and a problem that needs to go away, and we need to free the human race like Moses said, or keep the same. And both political parties, all your conservatives, liberals, put them all together. They all agree with keep the model, not do a paradigm shift. Robots, automation, free the people, have an automation, resource-based economy, or continue down the same direction and see where this ends up. Now, I'm gonna tell you where it ends up. If the avian flu doesn't get you, the revolution in gangs will.
And the latest change the local government has come up with is an interesting one, to say the least.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it. They don't read.
Homeless count in San Francisco reached over 8,000 people, and they say about 35% of unsheltered homeless citizens live in vehicles. While the number can't be precise, there's a good chance it's far beyond 30.
I mean, think about that for a minute. They live in vehicles. What's the average car cost? I don't know, 20 grand or something like that? The company prints houses for as cheap as $500. They 3D print concrete houses with a damn robot. What would happen if you took the $39 billion that you give to Israel every damn year for swimming pools and stealing more land from other people, buying them tanks and drones to murder and shoot, paying for ammunition to shoot kids with high-powered assault rifles who are burning tires, and you took that $39 billion, half of it, and you just made 3D house printing robots? What would happen? It would almost feel like you have a government, wouldn't it? It almost would, huh? If they actually took your tax dollars, they actually took your debt that they used to print all the money, that they're stealing from the next generation and the next generation, and they actually did something in your nation. Imagine if they had 30,000 3D house printing robots. There would be no homeless people anywhere in the world. But that's a government for the world. That's a government for Americans. That's a government. That's a we the people government, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It's all BS. It's all bull. It's all bull. There's only two schools of knowledge. Continue till the apocalypse happens, or free the people. It's like they go all around the solution. The solution's right there, and they just go everywhere around it. Like they won't touch. No, it's the solution. Oh, Lord, don't touch that.
I'm intrigued by some of the experiments with guaranteed income. You know, sometimes I wonder how much both private and government money is spent on paying people to come up with solutions and provide services and intakes and
right. They pay people to come up with non-solutions that don't touch a root solution. That's what it is. They pay people to creatively come up with solutions for side effect problems to make it sustainable because you believe that crap. That's what they pay people. You don't have to pay people for nothing for a solution. You just go to ask anybody in IT, robotics, and automation. That's all you got to do. Ask anybody who ever worked with learning software. That's all you got to do. It's already done. The solution literally was done 10 years ago. Literally. All right, literally. They pay people to get you. There they go. They're mad because they pay staffers and idiots to come up with crafty ideas to not change the system, to continue looting a country. That's how stupid we are.
If somebody actually had a meaningful amount of money that wasn't the kind of money that lets me imagine getting through the next few days. What if somebody had $10,000 and could imagine making a deposit and could imagine setting up with some long-term health care or mental health? Clearly, the mediating of services can't be the only thing.
That's why they don't put real people on TV. They only put people who believe this crap. They don't put real people on TV anyway. Because they make it seem like it's a problem.
They're allowing the rich to get rich.
We just can't seem to solve it. You know, I don't understand what's wrong. We keep hiring people to solve problems, and the government's working the problem. I'll continue to outsource the safety and security of the next generation and all the poor homeless people to the government. They're working on the problem, and these problems are hard to solve because they do that. They put these people on TV, and I used to fall for the crap, though. I'll be honest, I used to fall. I bought it all hook, line, and sinker. I was like, the government's gonna solve it. These problems are hard, and none of the problems are hard. Free the people. Free the people. Free the people. That's it. That's it. Everything else gets solved. Once you free the people from survival mode, 99% of every problem on this planet all disappears. All of it. Why? Because when people don't have to survive, like Amazon burned on fire for a reason. Somebody said it's raining. I don't know if it's raining or not, but Amazon's on fire. How come we're in this problem? Well, they say it's the loggers. It's this. It's Bolsonaro. It's Brazilian. It's not forest management. And erase some damn leaves. It's like, no, the problem is people aren't free. So they'll go work for loggers. They'll burn up the fields. Billionaires make money by burning up the fields. Land grabs, right? You have a monetary system that allows them to excel and get that power by buying land. Hell yeah, they'll do it because the people aren't free, and people will work for the billionaires. Why? Because the people aren't free. But when people got food, house, and land, and they're happy, they're at home with the husband and wife and having all kind of good loving and got fields and things to do. They got an internet to go out and study and learn and just be creative and paint and making music. When they're actually free, when you free the slaves, they don't work for the billionaires. You can't buy land. Nobody really cares. Evil is completely, the power's taken from it. Like there was a quote from, who was that? Tao Tzu, something in the Tao Te Ching. I was looking at the Tao Te Ching the other day. Tao Te Ching. And it said the problem with evil basically is that you keep fighting it. You keep fighting it. If you fight evil, you empower evil. And I was trying to talk to Brother John about this on the threads. Like, you don't understand. What does evil want? Evil wants to be evil. It literally does what it does, if it's a word, because it's evil. Evil needs you to respond, right? There you go, Lao Tzu. That's it, Lori. Evil wants you to respond. What happens to evil when you don't respond? Is evil evil if you don't call it evil? Is evil evil if you don't fight it? if you walk away from it? How do you get people to walk away from evil? Well, there's just bad people out there. That's right. Because they're not free. People will do amazingly bad things, and you will too if you're in a worse spot. How do you get people to walk away from these billionaires, corporations? How do you get it to collapse and go away? When you stop fighting, walk away. Walk away from the system. You walk away from evil. Evil can't be evil. Evil has no choice but to become goodish. Because it's not evil anymore because you stop believing it. It's a construct that you support by fighting it. Evil wants a fight. Stop fighting it. Walk away. Do you understand what I'm saying? We'll let this wrap up.
Richer and never stop them. It's just if they don't stop the rent control, that they let the landlords increase their rent as much as they can, they'll continue to do that. And one day I'm going to be in the streets too.
Yep, we all are. One day we all are. That's where we're all going. It's right here.
I don't think there is one answer because I don't think it's one problem. A portion of the homeless community, which are people that are working in and around the area that just can't afford to live someplace. The answer to that isn't the same answer as the people who have been failed by our mental health system. There's a lot.
See, look at it. Blame everybody else. Of course, he got on an $8,000 suit. People don't seem to get how this works. Free the people. That's it. It shouldn't cost anything to live. Why? Like like words, English language, cost of living. Why would it cost to live? How is living a cost? How did that even happen? Do cockroaches have a cost of living? The bugs that live in San Francisco poo that are working on the plague right now to murder all of us. Do they have a cost of living? No. See, this is what happened. This is why I tell people you never had capitalism. You have cronyism. You never had it because free market capitalism, you know when you have free market capitalism? Because you have a cost of living and it goes down and down and down. It keeps going down because you keep using innovation efficiencies because I learned how to do it better than you. And then you start a company, you learn to better do it with me. And it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And eventually the cost of living is zero. That's what free market capitalism is. That's what a free market economy is. That's how you know you don't have one. And you never had one because the price of everything keeps going up. So this capitalist guy sitting in his $8,000 suit is lying to you, but he plays this game because people believe this crap.
A lot of work to be done in a lot of places.
There's no work to be done in no places. Stop controlling the system.
Policies that the government is enforcing and promoting is the problem with homelessness. The more you give homeless people to try and help them, the byproduct of that is more homeless people and more people trying to take advantage of this, and probably more businesses that are nonprofit trying to help popping up, and their whole intention is to keep more people in this cycle because they're.
And he's half right. He's half right. I'm gonna get off of that. He's half right. Because the goal is to give somebody a fish. You give somebody a fish, they keep coming back for fish. You got yourself a slave. You're still on the plantation. If you teach someone to fish, you 3D print them a house because it doesn't cost anything. You give them a growing food system and you show them how to run it, or you have one regionally local and it's run by somebody like me that just loves doing this dumb stuff anyway, growing food, then they have no problems. There are no problems. But see, the issue is you got people who are in certain positions on the plantation a little higher. Like, I used to work out in the fields picking cotton. You should have to too. Like the guy told me the other day. I paid into Medicare, the next generation needs to pay into it too. No one needs to do it. Just because you got beat living out in the field working hard doesn't mean you should wish that for your kids. That's stupid. All right, stupid. But you have people a little higher up on the plantation serving Kool-Aid and iced tea to massa, and they want you to go through what they had to go through. And that's why I say the answer is love. The answer is consciousness, and all of it. Free the people. That's what needs to happen. But this is the craziest thing. Let that guy say the last thing he's gonna say.
They're getting money for it. At some point, people have to realize you just can't be only nice and only try and help, which you should, but there has to be consequences. It has to be.
There doesn't have to be. There literally does not have to be consequences. There literally doesn't have to be. That's called terrorism, right? That's how we got here. Is you have people writing legislation. That's terroristic. It brings terror. People write legislation to scare you to continue to work for the plantation. That's what it is, terrorism. There don't need to be consequences when you have automation and learning software. All right. Whew, that was a lot. That was a lot. I guess it gets to me. It gets to me that, that you have American cities fighting over who is the worst, who has the most worst medieval enslaving system. Concerning crisis. Hang on, one more. I'm gonna click this and let this play the beginning. See if I missed
It could happen to
anything.
anybody.
Tent City.
It could happen to anybody.
Yes, it can.
And it's just hard.
Homeless in the Bay Area.
A lot of people are one incident, one accident, one job loss away from the exact same situation.
Tens of thousands of people living on the streets.
Somebody comes every day.
New person.
Every day.
Families staying in cars, in shelters, struggling to get their children to school.
There's a mixture of looks you get, but a lot of it is people just look disgusted.
Those who served our country living in a tent on concrete sidewalks.
It's bad. Because they come by, like I said, at 2:30 this morning. Get up. And if you don't get up, we got calling the police.
And now, a new face of homelessness. Victims of the Bay Area housing crisis borrowing cars or sleeping on a couch.
Be sleeping under a bridge or on a field or on a sidewalk somewhere.
Is there a solution?
What we are doing now is clearly not working.
Lawmakers, cities, counties struggling to find answers.
Homeless residents are in our city, and we can either choose to leave them outside in our parks, streets, or in our creeks, or we can house them.
The widespread issue in our faces.
We're trying to be compassionate and measured.
I want to help homeless people, but not this way. Put them at the fairgrounds, put them anywhere.
Politicians, business leaders, and residents of the Bay Area agree.
Something needs to be done to help the homeless.
Something needs to be done. Once again, all my solutions go back to automation. Why? Because that's where I came from. Worked in the industry for a long time, long enough to realize that we literally are starving people. We have automation and the ability to take care of everybody. And we just don't do it. We just don't do it. Now, that's a little bit of a serious one. Like I said, it bothers me. It bothers me when I see all of my people just loving slavery and just loving staying enslaved because they're doing better than other people. That's why I don't give two damns about skin color privilege. Stupid. Stop talking stupid. Real people are going through real problems and they really need you to grow the hell up. They really do. We can save everybody and understand that you are a part of everybody. We need to start having a government that looks out for the people, not corporations. Anyone, like I said, I don't really do debates, but if you have any other piece of information that's any different than anything I present, I'm always open to it. I'm open to it. But the bottom line is people don't have to be forced labor slaves for massive corporations to keep this system running. You don't actually have to worry about a GDP. The economy is an enslaving engine that turns you against other people. That's its power. If you got something better, let me know. But until then, our whole march as a human race was creating things, creating innovations to make our lives easier. But not everybody's life is getting easier because the politicians were bought out by these massive corporations. They figured out how to make the world a slave by turning you against other people. So if you got something else, let me know. Let me know. It's just, I can't see why we want to continue doing this. A little serious, but like I said, it gets to me. Because when you really see how people live and the apathy, the level of apathy to not give two damns because you want to win some ego credit and get your party in some office somewhere that's starving these people. It's insane to me. We have some sort of a lack of love apocalypse that's going on. I'm gonna do the comments. Holy Trinity has been restored. Change is coming. I hope so, Stacy. But the Holy Trinity gonna have to start working on people's hearts because they're cold as ice. Wake up to the BS and unreality, everyone. Hopefully they can, Susan, but they don't listen to like speeches like the brother Tony wrote. Honey, let me get rid of Moses. Keep poking my damn eye. Sorry, Cheddarman Moses. Sorry about that. I got a little serious. I guess it's fitting for Freedom Friday. We were on a plantation, and like Harriet Tubman said I freed thousands of slaves. I could have freed thousands more if they knew they were slaves. We got billions of slaves, and we can free them all. And robots to do the work. Automation to feed them and take care of them and release them to go do human things, not forced labor, because of the system that somehow convinced people that jobs are good. Jobs are problems. And once the problem is solved, the job should go away and the people should be free to go back to do important things like solving problems. Human beings are problem-solving engines, not just from a biological perspective in healing, but from a collective perspective. We are born to solve problems. When you solve the problem of having a pharmaceutical industry, the pharmaceutical industry should go away. When you solve the problem of having an auto industry, because it's based on jobs, people need to get from point A to point B, so you create an auto industry, you create a wheel, you create a car. Once you have a better way of travel, flying in a drone, I don't know, fueled on some of the free energy technology that the American government has classified from the people, those 5,000 patents, I don't know. You get rid of the auto industry. Why? Because the job was a problem, the industry was a problem, and the corporations were a problem. The problem's been solved, so it needs to go away. And then you stop driving cars that are destroying ecosystems. You get rid of roads that are killing off wildlife because they're separating the populations. It really is that simple. We are problem-solving creatures. We're not labor. They've made you labor. They've made you a happy, slap-happy, go-lucky slave. And once you see that and you let go of it, then we can get somewhere. But until then, these systems will do what they're supposed to. They're designed to get you to have pride in your enslavement, and that's what you have. They're designed to get you to charismatically continue to vote for your children to be slaves, instead of doing what the human race has always done prior to our ridiculously foolish generation of embracing enslavement. We've always utilized our creations and innovations to free us from forced labor. See, there's somebody mad. Slavery's powerful. TV is powerful. All right. So many solutions and yet apathy and numbness. Right, Christine? Because people watch TV, right? There's so many endless solutions to help people. We're not here to help. These systems aren't here to help people, right? The politicians are not here to help people. Not after they've been a politician for a while. Maybe some of the new ones and the ones who are in any position of power. Once they're in a position of power, they're paid, literally get great retirements on keeping this system going. Keep looking up. Yes, Stacy, keep looking up. Keep looking up, people. That's how we actually got to such a technological age. It's not because we put people in competition with each other. Competition is violence, right? Survival of the fittest, economics, and fighting for grades. That's violence. All different forms of force and aggression and violence. Keep looking up. Why? Because energy is free. And you know it because you see things flying. Our ancestors all saw things flying around. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they are. I really don't even care. The bottom line is somebody has free energy, which means the entire human race can be free. And if government hide these patents, if government hide what's going on, they hide ancient history, then of course they've got something to hide. It's that simple. You don't vote for people who lie to you. You don't vote for people who hide things from you. And even if your politicians are good, you don't vote for people who are dumb enough to work for a system that's hiding things from people. All right. Wake up and free ourselves. Susan, that's all we can do is wake up and we got to free ourselves. Total waste of low vibe money, so many higher ways that we can exchange energy. Exactly. And that's the issue, Susan, is we're inefficient. We're completely inefficient in energy use, and that's what's destroying the planet. Outside of the fact that they got secrets in geoengineering, modification, climate changing tools that JFK told us about, which is part of why I think they killed him. Waking up, freeing ourselves, inspire others to wake up. And that's all we can do, Susan. You wake up, you free yourself and talk to people. Other people who have the mental capacity to get it will get it. But others, this is why I kind of still think, Susan, we're a modified race for slavery. We've somehow been modified in our ancient past. I don't know if the whole Anunnaki thing is true, But there are too many people who are just really, really believing in slavery. They're prone to it. They want to be told what to do. They want to be whipped around by legislation so they can get out in the field and pick more cotton, get over there and be an accountant and a banker and a lawyer and whatever else they do. There are some people who are just prone to it. And I think that maybe in our ancient past, we were modified, and slowly the parts that weren't designed to be slaves are waking up. Maybe that DNA is starting to filter out, and some of us are starting to say, you know what, slavery is a bad idea. Human beings don't need to be told what to do. All you can do is free yourself and then try to tell other people. It's all you can do. Evil is meant to do evil, indeed. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for how you put that. Evil is meant to do evil. If you understand that somebody who smacks you in your face had a bad day, then it's not evil. You understand that they smacked you in your face because they live in a sucky society where the government turned on the people, and so they have a lot of problems with their husband or kids or job or whatever else, then it's not really evil. It's called understanding. Evil literally disappears. It's all about how you receive it. There is no evil. Everything is a reaction to a previous action. And when we can start to think that deeply, then we can get out of this attacking each other and actually evolve into something better. Evil literally is a figment of our imagination. It's a figment of our apathetic approach to ignoring the causes to why a human being would go from a state of peace, which we're all born into a state of violence. Just ignore it all. What do you mean by fighting it? Well, Meg's fighting in terms of walking away from it, right? Seeking understanding, why people do what they do, why systems and governments, and why they do the things that they do, and walking away from the violent ones, right? You walk away. We literally manifest evil by fighting it, and we increase it the more we fight it. And that's why I call them fuggles. They're fake struggles. You fake struggle against something and you increase more of that thing. And then you give it more reason to be more of the thing. Because the more evil it is, the happier it is, the more it's going to do. And then the more recruitment it gets, the more sides yours gets. And we end up in this worldwide struggle that we possibly couldn't win until the earth burns. Evil energy can only exist as long as we give it something to feed off. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's literally feeding the people who think they're fighting it. Literally, it's feeding off of you. And it's like you're fighting yourself. Ooh, think about it. Think of that from that perspective. We're all one. We're all one energy. You're literally fighting yourself. When you fight evil people, you are literally beating yourself in the face because you're being beat in the face. So you beat yourself in the face because you're being beat in the face. And then you beat yourself in the face some more because you're being beat in the face. Does that make sense? The cost of living is BS. Yes, it is, Angela. There should be no cost of living. No human being, no baby on this planet should have a cost of living. There's no cost for living. Something literally took away your freedom to live and put a cost in there. That whole model has to go away. Reality doesn't cost anything. Exactly, Susan. Reality costs nothing. Unless you're a slave. And then if you're a slave, you do have a cost to live. Short of that, human beings are supposed to be free like every caterpillar. Earth produces everything humans need to survive for free. That is why we need to protect Earth. Absolutely, Angela. We live on an abundant planet. We live on an abundant planet that provides abundantly. There literally is enough resources on this planet for well over 100 billion people. We're not overpopulated. We're underestimated. We underestimate our ability to take care of each other. We're not overpopulated. The Earth provides abundantly. It's just there are a few who want the resources, the majority to themselves. And unfortunately, the majority of humans who are out there voting want the few to keep all the resources. That's where we are. Awareness and compassion. Christine, if we had awareness and compassion, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be staying here. Cost of living is real, there would be no life in the universe. Exactly, Susan. There wouldn't be. It wouldn't even make any sense. It doesn't even work. Like, having a cost of living is not even a sustainable phrase. It doesn't work anywhere in nature. Nothing can have a cost to live. Women, kids, and the elderly, vets, all are people struggling, one paycheck or medical bill away. I'm passionate about this, and you should be, Shelley, because they're your family. Everybody should be. You should have 7 billion people who are concerned for the people that you just mentioned, right? But somehow we live in a world where the television has convinced them that they're not related, and those people aren't part of their family, and they all are. It's one thing when we couldn't do anything about it, Shelley, but now that we can, you know, this debate 20 years, it wasn't in the debate 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we didn't know what we know. Now we know publicly what was held privately for decades before that, that we can take everybody, and we can take care of everybody, and the automation does exist. That's the only discussion I'm willing to open up to, is automation. Anytime somebody in government, are we talking about automation? Are we talking about feeding people and getting people out of survival mode? Because there's nothing else that's important, nothing. I don't care anything about your Viagra, your prescriptions. I don't care anything about that. I honestly don't. You're living. You got a house, a car, and a bed to lay down in. You have children who don't. You have children who live in the subway system in New York City. Grow up. You can't take care of everybody, and you are in everybody. Stop fighting for yourself. We love you to death, but you got to prioritize children. Every species on this planet, prioritize the next generation. When will we grow up to that level of understanding and love? When will we find that compassion? Sister Shelley, I don't know, but I definitely agree with you. Move the hell out of Cali for a start. Yeah, Courtney, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a city person. I don't understand it. You move to the city to be a slave. You don't move to the city to be free. You move to the country to be free. You want to be free, you got to be strong and independent. It means you need to have land, you need to have food, you have the means to take care of yourself and stop depending on your slave masters in these cities. Now, I'm not a city person at all. Exactly, G. It starts with us, not the government. Yes, Carolyn, thank you. The government, it's not their fault. This is literally not their fault. Not that I'm mad at government, I just don't give them an ear, because the ones in power, they're already beholden to these big corporations that are looting the country. And the ones who aren't in power, they know, and you can talk to them off record and they'll talk to you, but they can't do anything about it. So it's not them, it's us. People still believe this crap because people are emotional. That's the only thing I see, is the media makes them emotional. And when the media makes them emotional, it gives them some sort of a fake struggle against somebody else who's poor, who doesn't own any resources. So they're literally fighting each other, robbing Peter to pay Paul instead of fixing the system. Just a constant kicking the can down the road when we can actually solve this problem for every generation that comes behind us. All right, I can't read the long comments. I gotta get going. Good morning, the rest of you folks that came in late. Because people watch TV like Fox News. Yep, Rebecca, they do. You know what can I add to that, Rebecca? It's not because people watch TV like Fox News and CNN and MSNBC. It's because people don't understand what the news is. They don't understand that it comes from this plantation right here. They don't understand that what comes through it is designed to make you emotional and fight other people. It's designed to not let your people go. All right? You won't ever get anybody on the news screaming, "Let the people go." Because the news makes money on keeping the people enslaved with the big corporations and the banks. Everything on TV is a lie. Everything in the news is a lie. The whole internet was created by ARPANET to control people. You know, like the whole thing, like censorship, where did it come from? It was always the plan. Why was the internet free? Because they needed to get you on it. They needed to get you addicted. Like when I grew up in DC, what they used to do is give the kids stickers. Why would the drug dealers give the kids stickers? Because it had the, what was it, heroin? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Crack, whatever it is, one of them drugs. I don't know nothing about them. But they give the kids stickers, and it would be the drugs would get ingested through their skin to get them addicted. And after they were addicted, you had a standard customer. That's why the internet was free when it first came out with Prodigy and all that. That's why ARPANET gave it to you through the CIA, so you would stop getting your news from independent media, from radio stations, from 20,000 different voices and newspapers. And you get all your news from one easily controlled source. called the internet. And once it was free and everyone thought, oh, it's free, it's gonna save the world, we started going there for everything, and now they start censoring. See, you own people by censoring their information. See, the master who lives in this plantation, he wouldn't let you talk to other plantations. He wouldn't let you bring in from international. Why would you give your slaves international news? You need to keep them slaves. That's why all the news in America is highly controlled and highly censored by all of these mainstream, massive social media companies. This was always the plan. We got addicted to it because we thought it was open and free and open source, and we thought it was going to change the world. And now they got people emotional on this side. You need to censor those people because I don't like hate speech. You need to censor those people because I don't like this. You need to censor those people. They make people emotional and they cheer, literally empowering the plantation and giving master more power. Definitely. So the problem, I don't think it's because people watch TV, it's because people believe TV. I watch TV all the time. I watch the 100. I know it ain't true. I watch the Matrix. I know it's true as hell. I'm gonna watch the next Matrix, you know. But it's like cartoons. You watch He-Man. I knew it wasn't true, so it wasn't watching. As when I was 8 years old, I knew He-Man wasn't true. I knew He-Man wasn't true. But people watching He-Man on Fox News and CNN and oh man, they got all these He-Mans at the top of the Democrat and Republican Party working for all the same banks and corporations. They just hadn't figured it out yet. He-Man is not real, y'all. Who was the lady on He-Man? She was fine as hell. Oh, she was fine. She was fine, but she was marker and crayon. She's not true. Bernie Sanders literally is not real, people. Really, honestly, I'm being real with you. He's not real. He literally made himself up to be in the position he is to get you to. Trump is actually not real. Completely not real. All right, but y'all want to keep believing in Batman. That's just how it goes. Banks know better than that. That's why banks make cartoons and give you that stuff. I'm trying to tell you. Oh, she was fine. What was her name? What's her name? Shira? What was her name? Taylor? Oh, she's fine as hell. I ain't trying to marry her. She ain't real. At 8 years old, I knew that. We got people that's 80 who can't seem to figure out the Democrats and Republicans ain't real and playing them for fools because they got a house close to the plantation. All right. Changing hearts and minds. Yeah, Max, hopefully the hearts and minds change. But you know what? I don't try to change them either. It's just you give people information, they can do what they want with it. You know, I think we're enslaved right now because I think we were created to be slaves. I think we were modified. I was listening to David Icke last night. I believe we were. Because it makes no sense. Some of the most smart, intelligent people I know are just cheering to be slaves. They can't wait to get that cotton gin going in them. I can't wait to get that cotton gin going. Get out in the field and pick it. Can't wait to give it to their kids too. Oh, when you grow up, baby, I'm gonna teach you how to be an accountant too. You can't, you're gonna run that cotton gin better than me. In fact, I'm gonna pay for your education on the cotton gin. I'm gonna pay to make you a better slave than I, to produce more GDP for the plantation. All right, money literally has to go away, people. It has to go away. The only purpose of money is human labor. And as long as you have money, you will have banks, which means you will always be enslaved to that. There's no reason for money anymore. We can print everything that we want. All right, let me see. Grounding with your feet on earth. Energize daily for at least 20 minutes. Take your shoes off and connect. Yes, Carolyn, grounding is important. And also, see, there are other things that happen when you do that too. Stillness and peace. When you get out in the garden, you can focus on what Cheddar Moses is saying. Cheddar Moses, you can focus on what he's saying. Free the people. Let my people go. If you're constantly knocked back and forth by the media and the news and you're made emotional like a little kid watching He-Man, then yeah, you're not going to pay attention to anything that's real. You're not going to talk about anything. You're not going to think about anything that's real. But you go sit out in the garden, you get the grounding, and you get connected with the energies. You have just a peaceful state of mind where you can process and think. Then you can think to yourself, damn, I was actually worried more about myself than some baby being born 4 levels down in a subway tunnel in New York City under dim, stolen lighting. I'm worried about a promotion. I'm thinking about the next car I'm gonna buy. I'm not even considering children who live live in a tent right outside a pile of human feces in San Francisco. Because I'm thinking about getting a new iPhone. An iPhone and Apple has an office right down from where that child lives. Grounding's important, but there's a meditation, there's a peacefulness that comes with that. And you can't buy that love anywhere. Can't buy it anywhere. 59,000 new homeless in LA in 2018. And it's a damn shame, Shelly, because that's 59,000 cousins that we've turned our back on. And it's not a political solution. It's not a political solution. It's completely a human solution. When you close your ears to everything else other than loving people and helping people, then what do you think the politicians are going to talk about? If you're not even tuning in, you think they don't read the stats? They read the stats. Like all media does. They read the stats. And they look at what you are interested in. When people stop worrying about universal slavery basic income, and people stop worrying about new slavery jobs coming in, and people stop worrying about new walls to build up around the slave plantation, and people stop worrying about more health care to give the slaves to get them to endure a life of forced labor for life, when people stop worrying about what's happening in the Iran plantation or Syria plantation, that they're getting nukes to blow up our plantation, but your plantation master's starving the hell out of you, poisoning you through the air, food, and water, and playing with your weather, bringing about the end of the world. When people stop tuning into the dumb stuff, when they stop tuning into what master wants them to tune into, then the politicians don't have to talk about things that are important. Because government only exists because we want it to exist. They only exist, it's literally a fantasy construct. It only exists because we believe in it. He-Man only comes on TV because we watch it. That's the only reason where's He-Man? I gotta look at He-Man. I forgot what He-Man looked like. That's so long. I used to run home. Boy, young Gerard, I used to get off the bus. I couldn't wait to get home. I used to get to running. I gotta hurry up. It was 3 o'clock. I used to run, throw my gun in the house, throw my book bag over there. Couldn't wait to watch He-Man. Looking just like the adults today, these Democrats and Republicans. Let me see. This is what He-Man look. I had the He-Man toys. I run upstairs, get my toys. He-Man, dun 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 dun. dun. Just like people at these political rallies. It's a damn shame. You know, the only difference is He-Man didn't hurt anybody. My love and fascination with He-Man in my fantasy world as a child, it didn't hurt anybody. By the power of Grayskull, I have. All right, I'm sorry. I fall into my childhood. There you go, right there. I have my He-Man. Y'all see He-Man? Right there. There you go. Right there. There you go. Right there. Look at that. Bernie Sanders. They're right there. Donald Trump. Barack Obama. There you go. Who else is it? AOC. This is the He-Man rapper. Joe Biden. Right here. The idea that I can change the world with a fantasy shield and sword. The idea that you can change the world with politicians who all are beholden to political parties that at the tops are all owned by banks, corporations, and psychopathic billionaires. Yeah, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Democrats, Republicans. Oh, Lord, we all gonna die. All right, I'm done. I gotta go. Listen, love y'all to death. I gotta get going. Y'all have a great weekend. Happy Freedom Friday. Remember, free the people, free the people, free the people, free the people, free the people. When you start turning your ear off to every other topic other than free the people, they have no choice but to make free the people the topic of everything. Free the people. Are you talking about freeing the people? I'm not talking about how to make slavery more sustainable. I'm talking about free the people. Free the human race. The robots can do the labor. Humans don't need to. We need to heal humanity. And the only way that happens is by ending the plantation that's all over this world. All right, how do you going? Y'all have a great day. It's Gerard. I'm out of here. Y'all read Tony's speech. Y'all share it out. I gotta go. It's Gerard. Bye-bye. See if I can find that damn button. Right here.